In the cold silence of deep space, even the brightest stars can't outshine the pain of a dying child. When an alien predator, an enormous leopard-like creature with burning crimson eyes, breached the sealed gates of the Helios Intergalactic Hospital, everyone braced for a massacre. But as alarms blared and security teams rushed to intercept, a single human nurse stood frozen, her eyes locked on the trembling bundle clutched in the beast's jaws. What she saw made her heart shatter, and what followed would change the galaxy's view of humanity forever. The Helios Intergalactic Hospital floated in orbit over Vortis Prime, a sanctuary for all species, human, alien, synthetic, who sought healing. Built like a shimmering diamond of glass and metal, it was a marvel of peace in a galaxy plagued by war. Nurse Lyra Dane, a young human with auburn hair and sharp green eyes, was just finishing her shift. Her boots clicked on the sterile floors of the neonatal wing. As she checked the vitals of the fragile, translucent-skinned newborns from Eric 7, she dreamed of her own son back on Earth, waiting for the day she could afford a trip home. Then, boom, the station rocked violently. Sirens wailed. A voice echoed through the PA. Security breach. All staff, initiate lockdown. Unknown hostile detected. Doors sealed. Energy shields snapped into place. Lyra's heart pounded as she grabbed a stun gun from the wall. She'd never fired one before. And then she saw it. From the shattered main docking bay, a colossal form padded into view. It was a leopard, at least 3 meters long, with rippling silver-blue fur and eyes like molten fire. The creature's breath steamed in the chilled air. Its muscles coiled, ready to strike. But it wasn't attacking. It limped. It bled. And between its massive jaws, it carried something small. A bundle. A cub? The predator staggered forward, leaving a trail of iridescent blood. Security bots clattered down the hall, plasma rifles primed. Target acquired, neutralization authorized. "Wait!" Lyra screamed, stepping in front of the bots, arms wide. The bots hesitated, processing the command conflict. The leopard froze, its eyes flicking from the bots to the human before it. For a moment, time seemed to stop. And then Lyra saw it. The bundle the leopard carried. It wasn't just any cub. It was an infant alien leopard, much smaller, its fur dull and lifeless, its sides barely rising with breath. And the mother, yes, it had to be the mother, wasn't invading. It was begging. Lyra's voice cracked with emotion. "Lower your weapons. It's not here to kill. It needs help." Lyra approached slowly, hands out. The leopard's body trembled. Blood oozed from burns and deep gashes across its flank. Its fiery eyes softened, and it gently laid the cub at Lyra's feet before collapsing with a thunderous thud. The cub whimpered, its tiny form racked with pain. Its breath was shallow. Lyra's medical scanner beeped wildly. Its vitals were crashing. Without another word, Lyra scooped the baby into her arms and sprinted toward the neonatal ward. She called over her shoulder, "Get me a trauma team, now!" Inside the ward, doctors of various species gathered. The cub's alien physiology baffled them. Its dual hearts were failing. Its lungs, adapted for methane-rich atmospheres, struggled in the oxygen mix. Lyra's hands worked with precision born of desperation. She adjusted the atmosphere. She intubated the tiny creature with trembling fingers. She ignored the tears streaming down her cheeks. As she worked, the mother leopard was wheeled into surgery. Its wounds were catastrophic. Plasma burns, shrapnel embedded deep in muscle. It had fought through a minefield to reach the station. Chapter 5. The Truth Revealed. Hours later, Lyra sat exhausted beside the cub's incubator. The baby's vitals had stabilized, for now. Commander Rorvik entered, a burly cyborg in polished armor. His voice was gruff. "You risked the station for a predator." "It wasn't a predator tonight," Lyra said softly. "It was a mother." Security had recovered data from the wrecked shuttle that had deposited the Leopard at the station's gate. The shuttle belonged to refugees fleeing a pirate attack. The alien leopard species, called Velkarans, were not beasts, but sentient. A noble species once considered extinct after the siege of Velkar Prime. This mother had fled the destruction of her people. She'd braved an asteroid field and enemy fire to get her child to safety. And humanity? Humanity had nearly killed her on sight. Days turned to weeks. Lyra visited both mother and cub daily. She learned to interpret their soft growls, the flick of their tails, the subtle language of their species. News spread across the galaxy. The story of the human nurse who stood between a mother's love and the guns of fear. Refugees from Velkar remnants began to emerge, inspired by the tale. The cub grew stronger. Its eyes, once dim, now burned like its mother's, fiery and bright. The mother, too, recovered, and would sometimes rest her great head against Lyra's shoulder, purring so softly that only Lyra could hear. Months later, when the Velkarans departed, safe passage arranged by the United Galactic Council, they left behind more than gratitude. They left hope. The galaxy remembered that day, the day a human chose compassion over fear, the day a human nurse reminded the stars that no species, no matter how different, was beyond the reach of kindness. And as Lyra watched the stars from the observation deck, the message burned in her heart. Humanity wasn't just the species that conquered, it was the species that cared. And so the legend of the fire-eyed leopard and the nurse who saved its child echoed through the void, forever a reminder that even in the darkest corners of the universe, humanity's light could shine.